Hey guys, welcome back to Medical Coding with Blue. Today's episode is going to be all about tips for brand new medical coders that are job seeking out in the world. And hopefully this will give you some sort of insight. This video was inspired this morning. I was up pretty early this morning, about 4 o'clock in the morning. And this is not unusual for me. I start stirring about 4 o'clock and then 4:30 my alarm goes off. But my phone pinged this morning. And so I'm looking at my email and, this email was talking about that, they were, applying for jobs and weren't hearing back anything, or they had heard back from one, but they were just still waiting to hear back. And they felt very frustrated and rightfully so. And so here's the thing. And this is my advice for anybody, really. If you're out there and you're in that wretched part, the first part of being a medical coder is finding that first job. And finding that first job you're going to find is extremely difficult. Unless you are incredibly fortunate and you get your foot in the door somewhere very quickly. A lot of times, for 98% of us, it's going to be difficult. I looked for 2 months for a job when I first started with medical coding, and it was not easy. And you go through the emotions, because it is an emotional roller coaster. I will tell you guys that. It is totally an emotional roller coaster, because you're like, why am I not good enough? Why aren't they calling me? Why don't they want me? Why? And it is understandable if you're getting frustrated. The thing is, you have been through the school, you have gone through all the motions of going through your test, passing your certification exam, and now you're out in the real world trying to find a job. You cannot lose momentum right now when you are out looking for a job. When you are out looking for a job, that needs to be your full-time job, is to find a job. Okay? And you can't stop working, okay? I didn't stop working when I was out looking for a job. I was working minimum wage jobs. And if you've heard my story, when I finished and I got my certification and I passed and I'm ready to conquer the world, and I kept being told no, and I kept being told no. And I literally applied everywhere for any medical coding job. I applied. And I will tell you guys that even if they're asking for 1.5 or 2 years of experience, some want 3 years of experience, still apply anyway. The whole goal is to get your name out there. They need to know that you exist. And so in order for them to know that you exist, you have to put out your resume. You have to put out that you're applying, and don't just stop at 4 or 5 places and, oh yeah, well, this is all I'm going to apply for. No, you have to look at applying at 20 or 30 plus places, okay? You have to put out yourself going out there and applying for not just coding jobs, okay? If you're having a hard time and you can't get in with medical coding, then try to get in your foot the doors, get your foot in the door. I will get the words right. Get your foot in the door somewhere that's related, which is like medical records, or with the insurance company. You can apply with medical billing companies, okay? Apply with those people. Apply with the insurance company. I'm sure that there's job listings for these major insurance companies like Blue Cross or something like that. I mean, I'm sure there's plenty of like local insurance places that are looking for medical coders to do auditing or whatever. I'm not sure. I've never worked at an insurance company. I've only worked at an outpatient facility and at a hospital. That's been my entire career. But apply with the temporary agencies. If there's a temporary agency in your area, apply with them. And if you are working, that's fine. I mean, just still try to get your resume out there. That is the whole goal, right? And like I said, I worked in minimum wage jobs. I worked very physically demanding jobs. I mean, I did. I ran the gamut with those jobs too. And I was so uncomfortable. I was so tired that I just did not want to do it anymore. And it made me dig my heels in even more to go out and look for a job. And yes, you're going to get emotionally beat up because, like, really, no one's calling me back, and I'm applying everywhere and I'm not getting any calls. You have to make sure that everything that you're doing is in line too with what you want your end result to be, which is to get a job as a medical coder. When you're applying, make sure that your resume looks right, okay? Do not abbreviate anything, and I'm a huge, huge advocate for not abbreviating anything, because your abbreviation may not interpret as somebody else's abbreviation, what they think it is, okay? So be very clear about your experience, about your education. Be very clear, okay? Make sure that you're looking for those things. If in the job listing, whatever skills you possess, match that job listing, but it's not on your resume, then you need to update that resume and make sure that that resume lines up with the skills that you have that are on that job listing, okay? Because a lot of times people will miss out on opportunities because they're looking for those particular qualities in their job listing, right? The employer. And then maybe the potential employee possesses those, but then they didn't put that on there and their resume got passed over. Okay, so that's something that you got to pay attention to. And let's just say that you do get past all of that and they give you a test, right? Because every single medical coding job you get, you're going to have to take a test. And if you don't, it is extremely rare, because every place I have ever gone to has always asked me to take a test. Now, when you're taking this test, that test, if they're telling you we're going to give you a test, that means they're going to give you a chance. They want to see what you know, but you have to pass their test. And if you don't pass their test, then they're not going to waste their time basically contacting you. You have to be able to pass their test as well, because if you can knock their socks off, they're giving you a chance, okay? And so you have to do really well on this test. And if they do interview you and say, well, you passed this test, okay, good. Or if they call you in and say, well, you didn't pass, then, you can ask them politely, of course, like, what did I miss? Or can you at least tell me what did I miss, so that way I know what to, improve on. It is all about being able to take a lot of those emotional hits, okay? Because you're going to take a lot of emotional hits in the beginning. But once you get your foot in the door and you reach that ultimate goal of getting that first job, that's it. You're in. Once you're in, you're in. It took me 2 months to get in. And believe me, I cried, and I was frustrated, and I would get mad, and I'm like, I don't want to do this, because I worked at a concession stand. I was on my feet all day. I cleaned houses. I did a lot of things, and it was just like, just doing all these minimum wage jobs. I did not want to do them anymore. All I wanted to do was do what I was trained to do, and I was so motivated to just get a job. Like I said, I was just applying everywhere, regardless of whether they wanted experience or not, and when I did take their tests, when I would get calls back and they would say, well, we're going to give you a test, I would pass the test. But some were restrained by the fact that they could not hire somebody with no experience. But they always told me, please come back when you do get experience, because we'd love to hire you. You did really well on your test. So you're going to get that too. But you always want to try your best. And when you're going in for an interview, let's say you do get past the test and everything, you're going in for an interview, you need to look good. You need to look extremely professional. And I probably should do more outfit videos. I owe you guys. I owe you guys big on these video ideas I've been having. But yes, I should do more outfit ideas. But if you need inspiration or whatever, on my Instagram page, I do post a daily outfit picture every day, because I do dress nice. And there's a lot of people that I work with that don't dress up. They are always wearing jeans. And to me, it's just like, when you're working around professionals, you need to look professional, okay? And I don't care that everybody else is wearing jeans and I'm the most overdressed. No, I don't look at it that way. I look at it like, no, I'm here for business and my providers respect me because they see me that I'm dressed up. So, and more than once has come in handy because, when you're out there and you have to be very professional and vocal and you're the mouthpiece for your profession, you need to look the part. So if you're going out for interviews, if you're meeting with these people, make sure you at least have a pair of slacks and a blouse. You can have a blazer. A blazer would be really nice. I know blazers are expensive, but like I said, I'm gonna have to do some videos where I go and I show you guys how I get clothes as well, because I'm very smart when it comes to how I shop. Shopping is one thing I'm very good at when it comes to finding clothes that are good quality and on sale and finding them very cheap, okay? Because while my clothes look good, I'm not going to spend a ton of money on them, okay? And I know in the beginning, because in the beginning, I had this issue as well. I had no money. So I did have to go to Dress for Success. And the ladies were so nice to me, and they gave me clothes, and it's nice. It's a wonderful organization. If there's one in your area, in which if you go to the dressforsuccess.org, I believe it is. If not, I'll leave the link down in the description box below. They have many locations throughout the U.S. So hopefully there's one near you that you can get hooked up with. If you are in the beginning and you're out there and you're trying to get a job, you have to make yourself look as presentable as possible, and you have to just have that continued upbeat attitude. And even if they tell you, thank you for your time, but we can't hire you because you don't have any experience, be gracious. Tell them, okay, well, thank you for your time. Thank you for taking the time to see me. Okay. You never know what impression you're going to leave on that person. And you never know if they may be in a jam and they say, well, we did interview that one candidate that didn't have any experience, but they were really, really nice, and I think that they would make a good addition. Let's give them a try. You never know, okay? Go to the association meetings. That's a good place to shake a lot of hands and talk to people. And you never know. Somebody may know somebody that really does need a coder really bad, okay? So just make sure that you're going out there. And if you, like I said, if you're only applied at 4 or 5 places, you need to be applying at 20 or 30 or 40 places. I mean, the more you get your resume out there, the better off you'll be. And if you are in a small town, just do the best you can. I mean, obviously, the limitations to living in a small town. I live in a small town myself, so I know the limitations. And, it is easier if you live in a bigger city, obviously. But, with smaller towns, there's some concessions that you have to make. So either you have to go further out, or, you have to find other means of finding employment, So it's all about that. And you can't give up. Whatever you do, you can't give up. Whatever you do. Now, when I was going through this wretched period of looking for a job, I had a wonderful support system with my mom. God bless my mom. My mom has passed, but she got me through this time, because trust me, this was, it was hard, to go through that first part and be like, nobody wants to hire me. She just kept saying, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You got to keep getting out there and doing this, because you got your education and you did all of this hard work. And now it's time for you to apply that somewhere. So that was my main driving factor as well. So, just if you need to hear it, this is me telling you, stick with it. You can do this. You can get a job. If the rest of us can get a job, and it may have taken some time, but if the rest of us can get a job, you can get a job too. You just can't give up, And that's so hard when I hear people, because I've gotten emails in the beginning when I first started my channel. They would say that they just gave up because they could not find a job, and they need to, you know, make their car payments, and they need to pay rent and things like that. You don't have to stop working while you're looking for a job. I'm just saying, I still worked at the concession stand. I still worked at the halfway house. I still did all this other stuff. I still did bartending while I was out looking for a job. So it's hard because you feel like you're working 2 full-time jobs, looking for a job in coding and, working your minimum wage job, which is what I did. I worked minimum wage, and I was just like, I just wanted to just get out of that life so bad. And, I was so tired of being broke all the time. And that's another thing too that'll motivate you is when you get fed up, that'll motivate you. And trust me, that was part of my motivation as well, because I was frustrated. I was just like, I don't want to be struggling, And I knew that, medical coding, I was going to make good money, but the only way I was going to get a job was to just keep going. And as many doors as I knocked on, they said no. I just had to keep going for it. And, working at the Cancer Therapy Research Center, and then they said, well, it's only a 3-month assignment. That 3 months was still not enough to have viable experience. It was enough to just put a little bit on my resume, but it wasn't enough, And so I still going through the temporary agency. They were the ones that got me my second job, but I had to move away. It was just my journey. Everybody's journey is different, but you just have to have the fortitude, and you've got to be in for the fight, because medical coding will fight you in the beginning. I'm just saying, it does not fool around. It will put up a fight to make sure that you want it. And when you stick with it and you prove that you want it, and you finally do get that job, and you're like, woohoo, I got a job. It's the best feeling in the world. It is really awesome to get that. But like I said, if your journey takes you through going through medical records, and the reason that I suggest medical records is because you're in the hospital, right? Let's just say, for instance, you apply with medical records, you get into the hospital that way. Okay, cool. Now they say, well, we have a position opening up for a medical coder. Boom, hello. I'm a medical coder, and I've been working here because, a lot of times they look in-house first before they announce it to the world. Or when they announce it to everybody, they're going to consider the candidates that are coming from in-house first before they consider the people coming from the outside, because they're already established in their system. Just something to think about. Medical billing. You don't have to be certified to be a medical biller, but having that you are a medical coder is a nice little feather in your cap. So just look at that. Some people have asked if maybe being a medical assistant would help and things like that. Medical assisting and medical coding is 2 different things, and the technical knowledge of the 2 is completely different. So yes, while we both have to know the body, it's completely different, and medical coders do not have direct patient contact. So it is something completely different. If you're going to invest in being a medical coder, be invested in being a medical coder, okay? Don't try to get a whole bunch of things, pharmacy tech and medical assistant and medical. No. Pick one thing. At least that's my advice. Pick one thing and go with that, and direct your energy that way, okay? And, just go from there. But don't let the fact that it's hard in the beginning to get a job deter you from wanting to become a medical coder. You just have to keep trying. Whatever you do, do not give up. Don't do that to yourself. Think about all those times that you spend away from your spouse, your family, your significant other, away from your social life. Think about all those times, and don't throw that time away. Okay? You've invested your time already. You've got your certification. Now you just have to get that final piece of getting that first job. Okay, so just stick with it because you can do it. Okay, you can. Yes, you can. All right. And and I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this one up. But one more closing message. If you're about to take your certification exam soon, I've gotten many emails in the last couple of days. There's a whole crop of people about to take their certification exams. You can do it. You can do it. You're going to do amazing. Remember what I said, please. If you hear anything that I'm telling you, if you're about to take your certification exam, relax before, okay? You're not going to learn anything the day before you take your certification exam, all right? You're going to do great, and you're going to go forth and do great things. So that's my advice today. So if you email me and ask me what my advice is, if you're out there looking for a job, this is going to be the video that I direct people to. So, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and wrap this one up. But just let me know if you guys have any other questions. Please be very specific. And I will see y'all on the next video. So if you are a medical coder, a medical coding student, somebody curious about the fascinating world of medical coding, a provider or a nurse, I invite you to like and subscribe and follow me on my journey in medical coding. I will see y'all on the next episode. Bye.